Hello everyone, the Nerdy Steve here. Today I'm going to continue practicing for the Mythic Qualifier weekend by playing on the Alchemy ladder. I made a couple changes to the main deck. I wanted to try out a few things. I finally caved in and added Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And I'm realizing that maybe it's just probably really good. It helps us do everything we kind of want. So maybe it's better than Prosper. I still want one Prosper just because. And then I added back a Meathook Massacre in. I've been wishing I had more reliable removal, I think. And so that's where I'm at here. And yeah, so with that, we're just making slow changes, figuring out what we want to do. As, we play more games and figure out, what cards we've been testing haven't been good and have been doing what we wanted. So, we'll see how this goes, right? We'll keep, and we have the Meathook. The reason why I added back the Meathook is I feel like the Esper matchup can be a little... They can get a lot of cards on the battlefield, like, very wide, fairly quickly. And same thing against the Cabaretti Revel's Life Gain deck. And I've kind of been missing a board wipe. And I think it just has the opportunity to be that for us, so we're gonna try it out. Looks like our opponent might be on a Hinata control list, or maybe not. Whatever it is, we're kind of happy. Magma Opus, a little less happy. Fable, yeah. Not the biggest Fable fan here. So what I'll actually do now is Meathook for 2. That will kill the Goblin Shaman and give us a treasure. And then next turn we can Valki, if we really want. Opponent's gonna try and loot away 2 cards to try and draw 2 lands, I'd assume. Okay. And what's unfortunate here is our opponent discarded a Make Disappear. Probably has another one in hand, but I think we just have to go for it and hope our opponent doesn't have the counterspell. Didn't. So now, what do we do here? I think we just want to exile. That was terrible. That was very bad. I would kill the goblin, but my thinking was our opponent can then very easily kill the Tibble, and probably doesn't necessarily need that treasure too much. We'll see if our opponent goes Hinata and goes off here. So, obviously that was a big lie on my end. Because now it's a Snowborn Simulacrum. Ouch. And I can't imagine winning from this spot. Fable, yep. We're just in a very, very not good place. So let's plus... see what we get, which, you know, we love. All of this, because we're just getting lands, you know, and that's wonderful here. We can Sokenzan to get 2 blocks. That's what we need to do. This is just not a good spot to be in. You know what? We'll let Tibble go to 1. I think this is our best option. We kill 1 reflection. Right. Another Hinata. Oh, is this a magma during our turn? If it is, we can just concede. Okay, GG. So now against them, I think we want the Ray and Invoke. Do we want Will to gain control of Hinata? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Valki or Viconia, or even the Epicure. I think what we really, really want here is it just we need to duress our opponent to make sure that, you know, nothing happens. We only have the 1 duress. I mean, maybe it's better than nothing. Okay. Alright. So we have the Ghast here, followed by Harvester. We kind of really need to get Prosper out ASAP, because we need to get some type of card advantage against our opponent's deck. Right now, we'll deal 4. Like, this is actually a lot of pressure we're putting them under, which is really, really good. Make disappear, okay. Yep, I'd assume that would happen. Let's see what our opponent does here. Okay. So now our opponent can deal the 4 damage thing, right? To get rid of Prosper, which will suck, right? A lot. But at least we got an Experimental Synthesizer out of it. Ooh, Iteration. That's good for us, I think. If our opponent can't remove Prosper here, though it very well likely with the 4 damage spell. Molten Impact, yeah. A disaster. We tried. Let's see what happens here. It is Hinata. And we do get to hopefully kill it. We did. Let's go for red here with our scry. Alright, we'll put Meathook there. Not sure if that is going to be good enough, but it is going to be very, very close. Fable. Hmm. What do I do here? Oh, that's fine. 7. Then we have to go into full control. We'll do it for 2, just because with it there, we'll sack. And now we have a treasure during our turn, which we can use to create a 1/1. Huh. I don't know. Should we have done that pre-combat, post-combat? There's a lot going on. Uh-oh. This Hinata is potentially very problematic. Opponent has Snowborn now. Okay. Now, Meathook will not gain our opponent any life, so that is good. Ideally, what we draw is a Sanguine Brushstroke, right? Ideally, what we draw is a Sanguine Brushstroke. Also, I meant to activate the Oni on that, I think, to bring our opponent to 3. So, my bad, everyone. We definitely messed that up. Opponent should be at 3, I think. Mm-hmm. Alright, come on, we have... I was like, we have at least, you know, 1 out, right? so close, everyone. So close. And I think we could have, if I didn't mess up with the Oni that turn. Maybe. This is still, you know, a little... upsetty, right? We get to do this. Opponent's at 1. Now our opponent goes up to 2. Iteration. So close. Ooh, Malevolent. Need to hope our opponent doesn't have enough counter spells to stop this. Our opponent can Reflections the Malevolent Hermit and activate it twice. But I think... Alright. Oh my god! We did it! Alright. Oh wow. What a actual disaster that one was. But we pulled through. And I think we tried again. It... Try one. Ooh, do we need this? I don't think we need it. There's probably a lot of other better things we want. So... Malevolent Hermit, okay. What a good draw, though, for us. Honestly. Iteration. Just don't get an untapped blue. Don't get an untapped blue. Please. Oh, alright. You know what? I'm okay there. Now this means we can't turn 5 invoke. But I think that's okay. Maybe it wasn't, though. Oh, and discarding the snow. I wonder if... was there not a land there? Oh, beautiful. I mean, I know we really shouldn't be happy when opponents don't draw the lands they need, but I can be happy. Molten Impact, no! Oh. Opponent's looking for treasure. Love if our opponent taps out here. So that we can Bloodtithe Harvester in peace. We just don't know what is in the hand. Part of me feels like maybe we should have gone for it. I wish I just knew if our opponent had anything. We, haven't seen a counterspell in the graveyard? So it could just literally be anything. No, maybe we should just kill the reflection there. So, my thinking, I honestly wasn't considering that our opponent will be able to loot here. These Fables are just killing us. Yeah. And not getting... Oh, that's so unfortunate. Oh, and this costs one more because of Hinata. I didn't even think of that, everyone. Oh, an actual disaster. We're gonna lose now. I think. Oh, this went badly. Yep. So we could have just gone for the invoke earlier. We probably just shouldn't have been afraid of what our opponent was trying to do. Though a counterspell here will just kind of validate, you know, everything. So this is what, a make disappear? No. So our opponent didn't have it, so we played around something we shouldn't have. And that sucks. A lot. Okay. I think we drew a little not great at the beginning, but we got punished for playing around something that our opponent ended up not having. So, lesson learned. We get to do this. Then die. Yep. GG. Alright. That was rough, but we'll win the next one. So, 37 Mythic verse 43. So this is at least going to be a close one. It looks like our opponent might be on mono red. So we're going to open on Voltage. Surge. This hand was okay. Meathook Massacre might be fine. Oh, is our opponent another Hinata deck? I guess let's figure it out. Let's see what has going on. This hand is not great necessarily against Hinata. That's fine. We still get to see the hand, at least. Alright, it is the Wizard deck. But has nothing aggressive right now. So... And we don't draw anything. So... This isn't going to be wonderful yet. We would have really loved to draw a land there so we can Sanguine Brushstroke. Okay. Let's kill that. Again, nothing. So that was one of the problems with this hand, is we really needed to draw land, and we didn't. And sometimes that is what happens, right? When you keep questionable hands. You always remember the times, or you don't remember the times where, you know, you drew the land and your deck just worked, right? But equally, you will not draw the lands. And honestly, probably more often you won't draw the lands. So that was a little unfortunate, but we'll make do. We'll make do, right? Experimental has to see 2. Okay. We're kind of getting in there. Again, we are only at 18, which isn't a lot of life. Ooh, if our opponent's gonna divide by 0, the Oni-Cult, we will deadly dispute it in response, so our opponent doesn't get to learn, and we actually draw stuff. And then we can Voltage Surge to kill the Shredder and activate our Synthesizer. Okay. And we're gonna keep the... We don't need to kill the Kiki-Jiki now. We can wait to see what our opponent does to kill it. And the Meathook Massacre is gonna be pretty good with our 3 brush strokes. We should have enough time. Oh. We don't want that to resolve. I mean, it's going to resolve. We don't want that on the battlefield with Kiki-Jiki out. That seems like a disaster. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, everyone. We have a disaster. Oh, I thought our opponent would make a copy right now. So now we actually get to Meathook for 2 and kill both. Oh, okay. I'm so fine with that. Alright, so, okay. And then we get to prosper during our turn. And hopefully that will go well for us. Demilich. Because, so, we want prosper here. And then we just want to kill the Lich now. Or we can technically wait until our end step, because if we get a voltage surge here, we'd want to cast that one instead of the one in our... Demilich is really cool with Thrian Evoker. That's an impact, okay. Opponent's getting so much value. We have to hope our opponent can't exile stuff, though. Right? I guess, do you know what, we just do this? We have 2 Blood Artists out. Now, we can just filter whatever we draw. And hope our opponent doesn't have Spike Field, like, hazard for our Blood Artists. Any removal is unfortunate, right? But if we can just start gaining some amount of life, that would be good. Now, what do we want here is a good question. What do we want to draw? Obviously, a Deadly Dispute would be amazing. But does our opponent have a... I don't think you try and return a Sanguine Brushstroke, because we get another Blood Artist. If our opponent has... What is the learn card? Divide by 0. Our opponent's in a fairly rough spot, knowing that you know, we just have to activate a certain amount of blood in order to kill them. So there is a very, very quick clock here, right? They don't know how quick it is, and we don't know how quick it is. But it could very well be a 2-turn thing, right? Ooh, Viconia. I don't know if Viconia is good enough. We can get a lot of cool things with it, but I think we just want to maybe draw a Deadly Dispute. Or just something good here. Alright, we didn't get anything really to what we wanted. Let's hope we don't die here. I could try and make it 2-2 with the synthesizer. Do you know what? We should have done that beforehand. So, alright, and it was just a land. That's fine. We do not attack. Then we say go. Callum. Alright. Kind of glad we played that samurai. Again, our opponent is filtering, though, right? A lot of cards. It's very, very... We could very easily lose this turn. I don't want to, but we can. The good thing is any removal our opponent does on the Blood Artist gains us 2 life, puts our opponent down to 8. So there's a lot of... Our opponent is doing a lot of calculus right now. Because also, if our opponent attacks and we block with the Blood Artist, a Blood Artist, and the Epicure, for instance, we could make 9 creatures die, right? Then that's what I think our opponent is looking at. Alright. Oh, are you going to Environmental Science too? That's nice. Oh, not the Thrian Evokers. Alright. Opponent does that. We block here. Opponent is at 9, though. So now, I guess we do this. Opponent goes to 6. Opponent blocks here. This is very close. It's gonna depend on what our Deadly Dispute chose, right? Three. Come on. No, everyone. So close. Maybe our opponent accidentally goes to kill the goblin here. We had... If we drew the Epicure, that would have been... What? Game... Oh, do we not have any more... Oh no, and we do have 4 Bloodtithe Harvester and 3 Oni. So we had a lot of outs, right? But could you imagine if our opponent, like, tried to remove... Oh, that was so close. That was so close, right? Environmental Sciences, yep. That is also a game, too, where, you know, 1 life made a huge difference, and I could have maybe gone through that game and looked back and found 1 turn, right, where I could have done 1 more damage, right? And that's also the type of thing you should pay attention to if you do want to, you know, go and get better. It's really, really easy to blame stuff like, oh, we just got unlucky. And of course, whenever I lose, it's because I got unlucky, right? But it is just important to really understand that, you know, sometimes you miss lethal. But missing lethal doesn't always apply to the turn, to the final turn of the game, right? Missing 1 or 2 points of damage through, like, not attacking or, you know, not bluffing or, you know, something minute like that in the first couple of turns can really, really add up. And maybe we did that there. And in this deck, it's very, very, very easy to miss 1 point of damage by not paying attention. I think we want all of our lands. So. I'm putting this out here. If we don't get the land, it's whatever. If we get the land, it's great. We got the land. We do that because I want to be able to set up Deadly Dispute down the line for better mana. We could have Viconia'd. I want to keep Deadly Dispute up with it, though. Or Kiki. Cheeky. Alright. So we can Brushstroke and Epicure here. Which I'm, like, kind of fine with. I want to, again, another reason why I'm holding on to Viconia is our opponent does rely a lot on the graveyard. So if I can Viconia with a bunch of mana out, and then remove a bunch of instant sorceries or whatever, that's going to be really, really helpful, even if our opponent then immediately kills it. So we'll just wait and see. Again, Goblin Shaman is not my friend. Magmatic Channeler and a Disruption. Our opponent's deck has a lot of different things going for it. Molten Impact, okay. Sucks. Now we're trying to figure out what our opponent is doing. Oh, another Fable? Okay. Let's kill what our opponent has going on here. We get this. And then we still have Deadly Dispute next turn. Our opponent will have an active Kiki Jiki. Hopefully we can draw something for it, but I think we needed to kill both of the Fables here. Opponent just gets to cycle away more bad stuff and probably drawing good stuff. Mentor's Guidance. Just so many cards in hand. Hmm. We'll see what our opponent does here. If our opponent wants to counter, it should probably wait until the Experimental Synthesizer card exiles, so that they have more information. I wouldn't wait, because that's just not what I do. Again, holding on to the brush stroke and the Viconia. No idea what's going on in our opponent's hand. But this brush stroke, I kind of want to really resolve. So we have a lot a lot of things can go wrong here. Flames of Muradin. Alright, so can we get rid of all three? Opponent can what? Try and counter this? So what does... Oh, and our opponent did have the negate. Ouch. Alright. I mean, obviously not ideal, but... Ledger Shredder. Now, the good thing is, because of Meathook, right, and because of Blood Artist, if any of our things die, our opponent's only at 11. That's not a lot of life. So while our opponent is filtering and drawing and scrying and all that good stuff, we have a very legitimate clock going on. So, oh, that Blood Artist dying to the hazard is very, very bad because it doesn't trigger Meathook or itself. Invoke. Alright, well, let's do this. Now, our opponent can sacrifice the reflection of Kiki Jiki and lose 4 and us draw 2, because if you sacrifice the Kiki Jiki to the creature first, then you don't have to sacrifice it for the enchantment part. Our opponent is probably weighing, is the 4 life and the 2 cards worth it, over maybe sacrificing the Sage and Kiki Jiki to keep us off a card, and for them to gain 2 life, and that's what our opponent decided to do. I'm playing out our lands instead of keeping it for the blood, because I think Viconia, we can potentially reanimate. We can cast Viconia, exile, and specialize something for 2, and then cast it. And if it's we can do it with maybe a magmatic channeler. I think we have enough. Thrian Evokers is also very good. And now the lightning bolt is making me second guess. So let's get rid of the Viconia. Put our opponent down to 7. Hmm. Our opponent's gonna kill it in response. And lose. Oh no. Hmm. What do we even exile? I have no idea. Imagine if we still had that blood. So maybe I shouldn't have sacrificed it there. That could have been something to consider. Yeah, do you know what? Maybe I should have done that. And that's one of the things I really, really like about this deck. Again, I can talk about it and how good I think the deck is very, very good, right? But in addition to that, I feel like I'm always learning how to play and this deck and weigh different consequences. You know, whenever blood itself is very, very interesting, because sometimes you have to decide if you're blooding away a land, that's an obvious decision. But right now I had to blood away the Viconia, and I did it because I wanted to use my mana that turn, and I wanted to do this and do this, and that's sometimes wrong, and it's a lot of times very obviously wrong in retrospect, but you can't always weigh your decisions in retrospect, because that's just not helpful to anyone involved, right? But, I could go, if I save that blood, it's better with Oni. Maybe I wanted to blood away a land instead of Viconia, because while Viconia wasn't necessarily the best thing there, it was still fine. So, you know. Hopefully we do not die this turn, because if our opponent attacks all out, and we triple block and kill all of our creatures die, if we don't die, our opponent will die from Meathook. Tapping that is very good. Very good. Ouch. Oh, I do not want to die here. Callum with Meathook is Callum with Thrian Evokers is pretty cool. I wonder what our opponent is scrying. It seems like there's just a lot going on where you either, like, need the instant or not, right? But maybe there is, a lot more going on. Because I think you just have to try and find the lethal line to get rid of both my creatures. Imagine if the Invoke Despair was a, Deadly Dispute. So our opponent is probably just weighing in the consequences and the odds of doing all this stuff, right? It's not necessarily as easy as I'm like, just do it. It's more complicated than that. Our opponent, though, should know that no matter what is done, if we get to untap, we will win. Most likely. Alright? Trying Evokers is such a cool card. So we do this, which I'm very happy that we get to block here. Alright, and that is a divide by 0? Okay. And that's what I was like, there had to have been something else there, right? But our Invoke will kill them, right? Opponent's going, do I Lightning Bolt the Harvester now so you don't have a Deadly Dispute? I'm assuming that's what's going on. Oh, wow. Only game 2, everyone. Only game 2. Alright, let's go. Alright, Nick. Man. Alright, we have kind of everything going on here, so we'll keep. We have 2 mana, we have some card draw and selection. We don't have like a lot of. We don't have the removal I would really love, but you know. Beggars can't be choosers. I have a feeling maybe there is a Jawari. So let's go for the Epicure instead of the Harvester. Okay. Our opponent didn't. So one of the cool things with Callum is its ability is up to 1 target non-land permanent, and our opponent didn't choose one of our creatures to tap. Not only because it like it's not really that relevant, was waiting till end step. But if our opponent targets one of our creatures and we had a village rights to sacrifice in response, it would have countered the Callum ability, and then our opponent would not have drawn a card. So we're just kind of do the same song and dance here. Divide by 0. Interesting. I want to Deadly Dispute now. That, while we know it will resolve, okay, now I would have liked to draw a land because you know, Mentor's Guidance. Okay. Getting a little. Oh, that was red. Yeah. So we couldn't have even. I was like, maybe we're a little. Not a little. We're very much constrained on red mana right now. So got it. But now, what do I want to do? If we do red, we're gonna miss out on Invoke. That seems bad. Actually, we could do this, right? And blood away the synthesizer now. And try, if that way we can set ourselves up for another black mana, right? So that seems okay. But who knows? Fable, alright. Fable. Our opponent isn't tapping out though, which I don't like. Let's So our opponent probably has a counterspell, right? Let's see what we get here. Hopefully we'll get a land. Hmm. That's not exactly what I wanted, but We did end up getting a land, though, which is nice. Oh, a knoll. Alright, cool. We just won't do anything there. I feel like, though, if we did invoke Despair, it would have resolved, because our opponent only had a knoll, it seems. So again, now we know. Does that, we double block. Create a treasure. Let's see what our opponent does with the Oni-Cult. It was a negate. So... Woo. We did... we baited that one out, y'all. So we get rid of the Shredder and the Fable. Our opponent discarded a... Expressive Iteration, which is a little... Our opponent's also very low on time at 4 minutes left. We still have 17. I don't know if the time will be a factor. I mean, it's obviously right now kind of a factor for our opponent because that is a low, so probably playing a little bit quicker. But I don't know if we'll win by time. Wow. How unfortunate. Oh no! The Thrine Evoker's added again, and and a Fable? Okay. That is decent. Okay. Come on. Ooh, Graveyard Trespasser? Let's go. Exile a Callum. And what I'm happy about our position right now, again, obviously, could be better. Our opponent could be dead, right? But we do have a lot of filter. We have the inevitability of the Oni call, which is so good as a part of our combo and getting things going. Our opponent discarding a lightning bolt. I don't love that. Not at all. So we go to block. Oni will sack that. A braid? Or, oh, a divide. Okay. Mercurial transformation. So we just Sanguine Brushstroke. Oni. See what we get there. Okay. Attack. We'll exile a ledger. If our opponent double blocks, we kill one of them. Yeah. So our opponent goes to 9, then goes to 8. And we have the Oni-Cult when we get to untap. We have 3 blood, so our opponent is at a 5. And we win. GG. Well, thank you for watching as I, play around with this deck. I hope these games were somewhat educational, somewhat fun. I learned a lot. Hopefully you did. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and you can also watch me stream at twitch.tv/thenerdysteve. I will be streaming the Qualifier live this weekend, so if that's something you'd want to watch, I recommend doing that, and I'll see you there. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Bye.